Hello everybody, my name is Ella Hoffman. I've been with Funtech for the last 10 years.
I first met Ella practically 9 years ago today. I remember the first time I saw her at Ramat Gan, and to be perfectly honest, she scared the living bejesus out of me. We spent a lot of time in various parts of the world, and also in Tel Aviv again, with various clients, having fun, sharing an odd bottle or two of wine around the world, and I learned and grew very, very fond of the lady. She had some great stories, and she was a very, very warm and caring person, and she would always be prepared to put you in your place when you needed to be put in a place.
Come true.
She is a person of strong feelings. She's passionate about product quality. She is passionate about working smart. She is passionate about treating customers and colleagues the right way.
Her email responses to my stupid questions sometimes seemed like the Harry Potter howlers. I could hear her voice telling me what a stupid question to ask. But I grew to know her, shared many glasses of wine in various different places in the world. She was very passionate, caring, always willing to help.
I think the best memories I have were having a coffee and probably more than a few cigarettes in the smoking room, talking about work or life.
Think to myself.
Thinking back on those times, it's not really about what you did or what you achieved. It's about the relationships you have and your friends and your family and your workmates.
I like the dark and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
All of us who worked with Ella will remember her for different things.
The colors of the rainbow.
What I will always treasure is her fighting spirit. Through everything that has happened, Ella has never given up.
This is just a small acknowledgement that she will be very much missed and is known, I believe, as a legend of Funtech.
Over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that you dare to, why, oh why can't I,
I'm expecting you, was saying yesterday to somebody you know that you were due. The frogs got home last week, are settled and at work, birds mostly back, the clover warm and thick. You get my letter by the 17th, reply, oh better be with me. Yours, fly, be was saying yesterday to somebody you know that you were due. The frogs got home last week, are settled and at work. Birds mostly back, the clover warm and thick. You'll get my letter by the 17th. Reply, or better be with me. Yours, you get my letter by the 17th. Reply, or better be with me. Yours,
Ronen, please tell us about the first time that you met Ella. Sigal, you can add some color.
I'll speak in English because all of my memories of Ella are in English. So I met Ella at the wedding of Sigal, and we sat next to each other, met for the first time, and we got into a really heated discussion. And she told me how crazy I am that I'm living abroad and that I should come back and live in Israel. And we just met, and here she was telling me that, that I'm so crazy. And I tell you, it was really addictive. Within 3 months of that discussion, that I'd moved back to Israel, I'd changed jobs and come to Funtech and reporting into her. Now, Ella was my friend and my mentor and my good colleague. But don't get me wrong, we knew how to drive each other nuts, and we often did. And then we'd go for a meal and a bottle of wine, and she'd tell me about her stories, her faraway travels with Yoram, of her the stories of her children and her grandchildren. and that was the thing about that Ella, that she threw you a challenge, and then she was there to really help you and support you and work with you on making it happen. And Ella hated people who just were big talkers, who said that they should do this or they should do that, and they didn't actually do what they said they wanted to do. One too many times I'd said to Ella, I should go and live for a few years in Australia. And she said, so do it. And then I said about 3 years ago, I should give up smoking. And she said, so do. And that was the thing, that she really set the challenge, but was there for you, to assist you and to give you guidance along the way. I think the theme here is that Ella wasn't just a mentor, she was also hilarious to work with. That one time, to Nir's point on things being developed, that one time that a client opened a defect on something, an implementation that was completely different from what was written in the design document. And I went into Ella's office and asked, how should we deal with this? And she said, we need a new status in Star Team as developed. Another time when I went in to talk about a different defect of a client, and it was really a crazy defect. These days I say there are no crazy defects. But we went in to talk about a defect, and she said, we need a new Star Team status, user stupidity. Ella also had a lot of fun in the code, that she would add things like system options, MT100 is dead. The name of a system option in the code. I was speaking today with Jean Donahue, and she said, you can't believe how many times I go and I read in the code, Ella said so.
Okay, Ronen, any conflicts working with Ella?
I tell you what, the hinges on the doors, that they got their work out. But I do have to say that Ella was a true drama queen to work with. That she could out-drama queen me any day of the week. That she would, I would write to her my frustrations on project issues, and I'd just write a one-word email, outrageous, and she'd reply with, totally outrageous. She also was very dramatic in, I remember a couple of years ago asking if she wanted to come on a cruise with me and a good friend Amelia, and Ella said to me, we don't do cruises, we do expeditions. And I said, okay, so do you fly coach to these expeditions? And she said, I said we're explorers, I didn't say that we're masochists. It was truly wonderful working with Ella, knowing Ella, being guided by Ella. That in working with her, I have to say that Ella was a family woman, that she really took pleasure in sharing the challenges, the achievements of whether it was her mother's really interesting story coming to Israel, or her father being involved in the founding of the state, or her children and all of their achievements, the trips with Yoram, her grandchildren. She loved sharing stories about her family and what they were doing. And for me, that was really working with not only an oracle, but a real person that loved sharing those moments.
I am nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody I am nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody Then there's a pair of us, don't tell. They banish us, you know, don't tell. How dreary to be somebody, how public, like a frog. To tell your name and live a long day, to an admiring bog. And la 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 la. La 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 I am nobody. Hey, I am nobody. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Like the river flows gently to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, 'cause I can't help falling in love with you, 'cause I can't 'cause I can't help falling in love with you, 'cause I can't help falling in love.
מיסטר ג'ו מזטי, אני רוצה להציג את ג'ו מזטי. ג'ו מזטי פרש לפנסיה לפני שנה מהחברה. מה? ג'ו מזטי retired how long ago, Joe? A year ago?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
About a year.
Before that, Joe had many positions in the company, starting from sales and marketing, management in North America, corporate development, partnership, everything that one can think about. But more than anything else, Joe represents our culture. He's our Shimon Peres. Joe, it's a compliment, Shimon Peres. And Joe influenced everything that was happening here at times that we were like amazed and don't know what to do next. Joe was always the voice of maturity that told us what to do. Joe had very special relationship with Ella. And Joe, I would like you to start this discussion. Can you share with us your memories from your time that you worked with Ella?
Sure. First of all, I'd like to say I'm very proud to be included in this group and listening to so many of my friends speaking about Ella. Reuven did ask me to speak in English and not Hebrew for this call. But anyway, I will say Menishma and Shalom anyway. I guess I learned what little I know about payments from him over the years. And did you ever have a teacher that would tell you that everything you were saying was wrong all the time? Well, yes. Okay, I was a slow learner, but she tried very hard. Eventually, some information did get through, did get through. And every once in a while, when I thought I had a bright idea, I would mention it to Ella, and she would grumble and say it was probably a terrible idea. And then she'd think about it and say, okay, we'll try it. And maybe every once in a while, it was a decent idea, I don't know. But what Ella knows about or knew about this business of payments and the wider business of banking would fill many, many rooms, or it has filled many, many rooms of specifications, of documentation, and millions of lines of program code, starting with the IBM Series 1, all the way to whatever Global Pay Plus runs on today. But I think most important, that information about the business, and I understood from what people were saying, easier in English than in Hebrew, but Ella's legacy about that knowledge is in the heads and the minds of the very many FunTech people she worked with closely over the years, of course, in Israel, but also in New Jersey and London and Singapore and China and everywhere else Ella touched down. She embodied the FunTech spirit. She's very smart, very tough, and very caring. And so as a teacher, there was none better than Ella. I'd like to also comment on Ella as a colleague and a friend. Under the tough Israeli exterior, Um, Ella was always very, very warm to me and to others, of course. We spent zillions of hours together in meetings, um, at SIBOS conferences on every continent that there was, at client sites. And when she visited Princeton on a very special time we had with her, she and my wife became good friends, and we have very fond memories of a very quiet, nice dinner with Ella and Yoram in Tel Aviv one evening, and I hope he remembers. Um, I also would say, remember that Ella would always be the first one to ask about my family, how my children were, what I was doing, what they were doing, and then listen very, very carefully and ask questions, and that is friendship. Um, as I also heard and would also second, Ella was happiest talking about her children, her family, her children, and her grandchildren, and she lit up like a light bulb when we were talking about her family. So, in addition to being a great teacher, Ella was also a very loyal friend, and that's the memory that my wife Jean and I have of Ella.
Thank you, Joe. I want Zach to say a few things. Zach is running the largest business unit in Fantech, which is global payment, and is managed from here. Would you mind if I speak with English, because I want Joe to participate? It's okay. So, Zach, can you share with us some of your memories from working with Ella? Can you start with the interview that you interviewed Ella?
Okay. As you know, when your boss asking you to interview someone, it usually means that you have to take them. And today, usually, Reuven ask us to, interview the sons or the daughters of his friends. And this is how we get a lot of new kids in the company. With Ella, it was different. Ella Reuven told me.
That's the part that you should have said in Hebrew.
Yeah, okay. It was your choice. So with Ella, Reuven told me in the beginning that he's not sure that she will come, but if she will come, it will be very good. And he wanted me to be very nice. Actually, I was, I guess, more excited from the meeting than Ella was. Ella came like she was coming to speak to a friend. She was joking, and it was the first interview that I felt that I was interviewed. And at the end, she accepted me. And Ella, Reuven mentioned that she was like a mother. For me, she was like a big sister. She was obviously, she had much more knowledge and experience than I did. And it was an opportunity for me to learn from Ella. And Ella liked to teach people. And we worked over 16 years together. And I can't say that I managed her. I think that we were co-workers, and she usually managed me. I really related to what people said before. The relationship, from my perspective, was a combination of fear and admiration. Ella was really a very special person, and that really drived a lot of, she drove a lot of the things that happened in the company. Very, very strong personality, and somebody that I think everybody looked up to.
Thank you, Zach. As I said before, in the executive management here, we had a lot of tension. And every time that I took a decision that Zach thought that Ella is not going to like, as a punishment to me, said, okay, you'll have to go and tell it to Ella. One of the toughest decisions that I took was to give Ellie the development of the next generation product, which Ella really didn't like, and after screaming at me, she said that she has to decide if she stays with the company, and she decided to stay. I knew that she will stay. So I would like Ellie Beaton. Ellie Beaton is running the global R&D organization for Fantech, and I would like Ellie to speak a little bit about Ella's professionalism. Ellie?
טוב, אני אדבר בעברית, כי אחרת אלה תכעס על האנגלית שלי. באנגלית היא מתקנת יותר מבעברית, למרות שגם בעברית היו לה קצת ביקורות. נראה לי כאילו לדבר על המקצועיות זה די, כולם דיברו על זה, וזה באמת משהו מאוד בולט וחריג. המקצועיות, הפדנטיות, אני דווקא רוצה לדבר על היבטים קצת יותר אנושיים באישיות שלה, שמאוד הפתיעו אותי, למרות היחסים בעבודה, מאוד קורקטיים, מאוד מקצועיים וכולי. באחת הנסיעות, אולי הנסיעה הראשונה שלי בתחילת דרכי בפנטק, אנחנו מדברים הרבה על נסיעות, אבל שם יש לך את ההזדמנות באמת להכיר את הבן אדם. אז באחת הנסיעות טסנו לשוויץ, ציריך, טסנו בבוקר, 6 בבוקר כמדומני, והיינו צריכים לחזור כבר בערב לפגישה בצהריים. כך שזו קומבינציה מאוד לא נוחה, מאוד לא נעימה. בזמנו הגענו ביחד לצ'ק אין, ואני הייתי חדש, כמובן עוד לא הייתי מנוסה גם בכל עניין הבונוסים, הנקודות בונוס של אל על, שפה זה נהיה כבר פרויקט, כל אחד תחרות כמה נקודות צברו. ואז שאלו את אלה אם היא רוצה לשדרג לביזנס, ואמרו לה זה 50 נקודות. עכשיו, אני לא ידעתי מה המשמעות של 50 נקודות, והיא אמרה לא, אני מוותרת על זה. ושאלתי אותה ככה לתומי, מה 50 נקודות זה הרבה? היא אומרת לא, זה פינאץ. אמרתי, אז למה לא שדרגתי? היא אומרת, ואני אשאיר אותך לבד, לא נעים לי. לא נעים לי, אנחנו טסים ביחד, איך אני יכולה לעבור לביזנס ואתה תישאר בדומסטיק? וזה היה... האמת זה... אז זה בדיוק העניין, בהמשך, אחרי מספר שנים ואחרי שהצבנתי אותה ברמות על, אז אם היו לנו טיסות ביחד, היא הייתה מחכה לוודא, לראות איפה אני יושב, ואז לבחור מקום מרוחק. אבל... כן, זה היה משהו כזה. אבל... והיו עוד מספר אירועים כאלה. אחד הדוגמאות שבאמת... היה לנו זמן בלונדון עד הטיסת לילה, ואני תמיד יש לי מטלות וקניות וכולי, והבת שלי, הבת האמצעית היא היותר קשה, קשה למצוא לה משהו, וקניתי לבן הגדול, קניתי לבן הקטן, ולבת לא קניתי. ואמרתי לא משנה, אלא בוא נמשיך, ואלה, כמו שהזכירו פה, לא מאוד אוהבת להסתובב ולעשות קניות, היא לא ויתרה לי, היא התעקשה ובעצמה הלכה ובחרה משהו שאני לא יכול לבוא הביתה בלי מתנה לילדה. וזה היה מאוד מרגש העניין הזה. לגבי התחשבות, והייתי בסיטואציות עם אחרים שחלוטין לא התחשבו בעניין הזה, אני שומר כשרות, ובכל נסיעה שנסענו, אני בדרך כלל לא נוהג, לא אוהב להכביד בעניין הזה ולא לציין שיש לי דרישות מיוחדות בעניין האוכל וכולי, גם ללקוחות, והיא תמיד הקפידה ולדרוש מהאיש מכירות שמנהל את זה, שיוודא שמביאים לי אוכל, במקרה הגרוע אוכל צמחוני, ואם הולכים למסעדות אז היא התלוותה אלינו והלכה איתנו או למסעדה צמחונית, ופעמים בדרום אפריקה גם למסעדות כשרות, והייתי בסיטואציות שהייתי יושב שעות, ואוכלים פרות שלמות ואני יושב ומסתכל, ועם אלה זה לא קרה. וזה היה מאוד, מאוד מרשים בעיניי.
אני הגעתי לפנטק לפני איזה 13 שנה, 13 years ago. כשאני הגעתי לפה, גיל היה yeah, it's okay. Gil was my boss. I joined, and Ella was responsible for the product. Was some kind got a responsibility, what used to call something similar to a delivery, and Ellie was the development manager. So we were kind three colleagues. And I worked with Ella very closely, I believe, for the last, I would say, 9 years, I think. At some point, she started to work more on the new product, which was much less tied to the delivery part. So this is where we actually stopped working together. I think many things were said about Ella, so it's probably what I'm going to say is a repeat. But generally, definitely, Ella was a person, back then you need to realize the organization was very informal from a processes, organization, so everything was done like in an unplanned, and the tasks were thrown onto you. So there were many, many occasions where you needed someone, a champion, to take a project and complete it in a very, very tight schedule. And you always, all the time you knew that Ella would be the person to approach. So that's kind of a thing from Ella, that you knew if you have a project that you need to complete and you needed support, Ella would be the person to do it. A couple of days ago, I went through the emails from Ella to see if I can find out things. And now the emails go only back to 2011. But then I picked up one of the emails that remind me that throughout the year we had all the time arguments with Ella about the difference between authority and responsibility. Ella all the time claims, and we had here internally a lot of arguments about whether someone that we are giving him the responsibility, whether he also received the authority. And you see from the email chains that Ella all the time felt that we are giving her a lot of responsibilities without giving her the authority. That was her feeling. But I'll tell you something. I think that Ella is an excellent example. At the end of the day, is an excellent example, and I think people need to learn that, is how people, without really a formal authority, can take responsibility and influence on a much, much bigger organization that they are really controlling and have the authority for it. And this is something that I believe was very unique to Ella. And when I see today, I see those gaps in many people, and I hope really that they will learn from Ella, you know, how to take the authority even if you are not getting it meaning you, if you only get the responsibility to pick up the authority by yourself and influence others.
Thank you, Ran. I didn't introduce Ran. Ran is running delivery for our main products. Most of the managers that were here before reporting to Ran. He has hundreds of people working for him, and basically he deploys our products around the world, including most of the largest banks in the world. In addition, he is the brother of Efrat that was singing it. He's Rani. Okay. Moti Porat is running pre-sales for Fantech. Moti.
I'll do it in English, okay? So I guess for Joe and for the others, okay? I'll actually tell you the first real professional encounter that I had with Ella, which condenses a lot of the themes here. I've been in Fantech, but we work in parallel. I was in the States, had my own products. She was here, and we had, professional discussions. Everything was very mild and nice and this. And I think in 2004, I developed a product called CLS, and there was some changes needed in the product that was developed here in Israel. I was here. She asked me to come and help her with something. I was very proud and eager. I heard already about Ella and her professionalism and knowledge, etc. So I came, equipped to teach her something, So I came, she sat in this room in the back, near Bev and Ron and Mirav. There was like a cluster there. And I came in, it was claustrophobic the moment I came to the room. It was very, and she had a very teeny tiny whiteboard. And I immediately stand up, hi there, and I start to draw, and say, this is how it works, like this, and draw. And I look at her, and she had piercing eyes, and she looks at me, and she had a very throaty voice, and her facial wasn't very pleasant. Like, what are you talking about? It's not like this. And I came with a lot of confidence. I've done it for quite a few years. I know what it is. And it's getting more and more intense. And then she stands up. She comes to the whiteboard, and I feel the next thing she's going to paste me to the board. It's like I felt, and she kind of takes over and starts to draw there, etc. And I say, Ella, look, it's slightly different. Didn't help, and I was scared to death. It's the first time. It was really I didn't know, and I felt so claustrophobic. I needed to get out of there. At the same time, there were huge, it was. Later I learned it was a common scene. Ran Ben-Tzur and Mirav were fighting with each other. On the other side, I said, I have a chance to say, look, I can't hear you. I have to go out and ask them to be a little bit quieter. So I stepped out, came to Ran, and I tell him, Ran, can you be quieter? And actually what I needed is just air. I just needed air. That's what I needed. So he told me, get lost. You are the ones who are yelling at the other room. So I went back to the room, and I'm thinking, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to tell her. So I said, we'll take a pause somehow. I came back, and suddenly this totally different discussion starts about raising your kids in the U.S., and what is more difficult, to raise young kids or to raise older kids. And like for 45 minutes we'll go into this totally different thing, totally personal, totally intimate. Like she didn't want to kill me about 10 minutes ago. So we've done this. Jumping to the next day, she called me and she said, I think I understood what you said. I think it sounds okay. I have one more question. And at this point, I swear to God, my blood pressure goes down. I'm saying, no, I can't take it anymore. And she asked me this question, and I lost my confidence. And I pretty self-confident about things. I have to ask someone before I give you the answer. and so it was pretty. And then we worked quite closely, as Reuven said, with a lot of intensity, but tremendous amount of intellect and creativity and great things that came out of this. So it was great. And in the meantime, she already was a grandmother. I was expecting to be a grandfather, and a totally different facet. I remember one day we had to actually create a presentation to go out, and she said, I cannot do it today. My granddaughter had a surgery, and I have to go and be with her. It was like, with the softest, most intimate voice that I've ever encountered. And that's Ella for me. Oh.
Thank you, Moti. Zach, can you talk a bit about Ella's contribution to the company? Start with the Purim parties.
Okay. I'm sure Yoram remembers this as well. One of the first, maybe the first Purim party, Yoram and Ella came together. Yoram was the doctor and Ella was the sick. The patient.
I remember that somebody from Fantech came to me and she asked me, are you a real doctor? I was very professional with my outfit and everything. Are you really a doctor?
So it was, as usual, there was this competition, costume competition, and Ella with, I think Ella has a very theatrical personality. She likes to act, so she dragged Yoram on the stage, and she did the patient act, and she was much more funnier than the host of the evening. So, but I think after that, Yoram didn't come to any Purim party. Ella's contribution, I think, and people said it, is she was, by far the most dedicated person. And usually when lights went out in this company, there was one room where lights were still on, and this was Ella's room. And I think part of the reason that Ella sometimes screamed at people was because she was passionate, she really cared. I mean, she built this product. She built this company. She was part of the small team of people that built this company, and she really cared. And when she felt that somebody is doing something wrong to her product, then she was upset, and she made sure that people knew about it. It definitely wasn't easy to manage Ella for 16 years, but it was a privilege, and I will miss her.
Yeah, we will all miss Ella. Joe, do you want to add maybe an anecdote?
I think that what Zach and everyone has said sums it up, and as I had said before, you look for what is the spirit of Funtech, and to repeat myself, I guess in a way, it's as an honorary Israeli, I can say it. She was very smart and very tough, but cared a lot, as Zach said, about results and about individuals, and amazing combination. So it's unique, a unique combination of qualities, and certainly because I've been in Funtech so long, or had been for so long, that I had the opportunity and the pleasure, really. And sometimes, as Moti says, it didn't feel like pleasure. It felt a little bit like you were getting beaten with chains, but the results were always good because everybody working together trying to make whatever it was better. So Yep, it wasn't always fun, but it was always, the results were always good when you dealt with Ella. So the memories on balance could not be better.
Joey, thank you. Zach will close this discussion.
There's one thing I wanted to add. A lot of people, and this is a bit about the product, so we've probably the most innovative thing that we have in our product is what we call the rule engine, which allows you to customize the product for every customer through some kind of a rule definition. And when the rule started, it started as a very simple thing that was just was supposed to just be part of the screen, something that you can classify messages. And Ella was part of that design, and Ella said, wait a minute, maybe why don't we make it a generic tool that will actually allow us to make this the product much more generic. And this is, if you ask about contribution, this is one. Ella was involved in everything basically, but this is a major contribution that made a difference in the product. I think that I will close with reading a few words from Elizabeth Johnson. Elizabeth Johnson was one of the first customers of Funtech. And this is what she wrote when I asked her to participate in this event. So she say, first time I met Ella was early 1997. She came to Sweden to prepare for starting our implementation of Pay Plus RTGS. It was freezing cold and Ella was more or less in summer clothes. We from Sweden were wondering from what planet she came from. Summer clothes in January in Sweden. I came with Ella during that visit, and we came, wasn't summer clothes, we came with Israeli winter clothes. But for Swedish people, these are summer clothes. It was freezing. What I always will remember Ella is for her kind way, her open mind, and as a good listener. She always took the time for me, and I didn't feel that it was only because I was a customer, but more as a really good friend. And that is how I see my relationship with Ella. When Israel was under attack, I don't remember the year, Tel Aviv had suicide bomb attacks more or less every day, and I started to worry about the people in Tel Aviv. I called Mark Wilson, he was the sales manager, and he helped me with a telephone conference involving Tel Aviv, New York, and London. And Funtech started telling me how they worked, how they protected their development side, etc., which was good. But what I really wanted to know for sure was that Funtech protected the people in Tel Aviv well and kept them safe, and that Ella and her team was taken care of. I'm grateful for having known Ella and for having learned so much from her. And there's one last line that I want to finish, and this is from Michael Anderson, who was a former Funtech employee. And he said, I can still hear Ella's hearty laugh and see the twinkle in her eye. And this is the way I would like to remember Ella.
Thank you, Zach.
Well, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? Well, it goes like this, the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall and the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to her kitchen chair, she broke your throne and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Baby, I've been here before. I've seen this room, I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew you. And I've seen your flag on the marble arch. And love is not a victory march. It's cold and it's a broken hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. There was a time when you let me know what's really going on below, but now you never show that to me, do you? But remember when I moved in you, and the holy dove was moving too, and every breath we drew was hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Maybe there's a God above, but all I ever learned from love was how to shoot somebody who outdrew you. And it's not a cry that you hear at night, it's not somebody who's seen the light, it's a cold